one of the unusual things about this group is that each guy in the group can lead. Any guy in the group can do it.
Straight out the Ville. It's the Back Alley Fellas podcast.
They said we could never make it. They said
Billy got it bumping. In the back alley. Back alley. In the back alley. In the back alley, taking shots of whiskey and only go.
Oh, okay.
Yo, what's happening? One, two, in the place to be. What's going on with you, brothers? It's you know, peace, 2/3, stand up. It's Back Alley Fella podcast. It's your brother Mike D, Big Pat, brother Six. We in the mix. You know what it is. We back for another week, another fantastic podcast. Welcome everyone. Welcome, first time, last time viewers. Thank you so much for joining. You know, as we say, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, and tell another friend to join into this beautiful mosaic that we call the Back Alley. I was about to say the Black, but that's two. The Back Alley Fella podcast. Yeah. The Cotton Pickers.
I like that though, the Black Alley.
Yes, the Cotton Pickers, as Grandma used to say. The Cotton Pickers. What's going on, Cotton Pickers? What's going on, Big Pat? How you doing, brother?
Hey man, first give all honors to the Most High.
Yes, indeed.
And you know, shout out to my brother Reggie and his, you know, rest in peace, brother, and his family, his wife, and all, you know, but all is well, man. All is well.
Good. Brother Six, what's up with you, brother?
What's up, man? All praise be to Allah, man. And glad to see you brothers, man. One time for the Ville, one time for Fat Blood, man, his family. And everybody there, man.
Yes.
Tell somebody what's going on with us on here. We got it cracked and popping on here. Mike, how you doing?
So
Motive. Woo wee. He said a lot right there. He said a lot. All is well, man. All is well. No complaints, bro. You know what I'm saying? Well, a few, but we working those things out. at the job.
Yeah.
Got a little mess going on, but it's all good. It's all
good.
Works out. Yeah, it's always good. So with that, man, again, we want to thank everybody for, you know, tuning in to the show. It should be a great show. Hopefully we'll keep that energy up. You know, always comment, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Yeah. Make sure that you share, get those things out there. You know what I mean? And if you want to sponsor us, let us know. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the UNITY, unity. And so with that, man, you know what we do? The first thing we got to do is ask what's in your cup. So brother Six, what you got in your cup?
I got red wine. Sweet.
Red wine. All right.
I ain't making no noise. What you drinking on that, Pat T?
That's funny because when I was back in high school, one of my partners used to call me Pat T. But I got a little bit of apple crown with some Coke. That's all.
Oh,
Oh,
it looked
okay.
like he was trying to add up all the ingredients that he got.
No, I don't normally drink dark, first of all.
Okay.
So I really kind of forgot the name of it because I really don't mess with dark. But this is the first time I'm dark.
Well, I'm like a punk. I got Body Armor Tropical Punch, bro. That's all I got. I just had to grab the first thing I could grab, and so that's what I'm rocking with right now. Yeah. So y'all know the routine. If you know it, like we know it, sing along.
So if you at home, let's get these tunes. Bottles, glasses, cups that are plastic, alleyways backwards. Perfection takes practice. Friendship turned kinship. 2/3 of the street dynastic.
Brotherhood from the neighborhood. This podcast is going to be a classic. A divine state of mind, a movement sublime. It's going to rock, brother. Give me something strong.
A mixer, slice of lime. Put your drink up. Now let's link up. Snub of love in this atmosphere. Peace. Salutations, brothers and sisters. The fellas, we in here. Cheers.
Cheers.
You know that apple crown don't taste halfway bad.
Nah, it ain't. It's good. But y'all got to get that peach, bro. I'm telling you, that peach crown is something serious. It's something serious.
I had that before. It's real good when it's real cold.
That too.
Either one. That apple crown is good when it's cold too. That apple jack.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm gonna put this question to Thomas. Have you heard anything out of the back alley? I heard it's been cracking.
You know, they've been talking about colorism.
Mm.
Colorism.
You know,
Colors
colorism.
from not colors throwing up signs. We're talking about colorism.
Colorism, and you know, I don't know about you brothers, but I know and understand colorism firsthand. So I'm a little darker than both of you brothers, so I've dealt with colorism, and I'm a little
Talk
older.
about it.
It was a lot more. It's prevalent now, but it was a lot more prevalent in the '80s, early '80s.
I was a little young.
You catch us probably between 8 and 12, but it was really bad, and I mean it really rampaged the Black community. But let me tell you what the dictionary says.
Talk to us.
Now, this is the dictionary. This is not me, fellas. This is the dictionary. The dictionary says it's a noun. It's prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. Colorism within the Black community has been a serious emotional and psychological battle.
I would differ some from that because I don't think it is just dark skin. I think it moves both ways.
Yeah.
In the community, and I know that it's also prevalent.
What do you mean by both ways, Mike? You meaning white, black, light skin, dark skin, light skin?
Yeah, from the very light hue to the very dark hue.
But Mike, now I do agree. I agree with you, but I also feel like the darker skinned people kind of do it in retaliation.
Oh, facts. No, I'm just saying that.
Wait a minute, hold on. So,
yeah,
Pat, do you feel more offended being darker than a light-skinned guy if that was in your case, what experience you did? Okay. That's
I mean, almost my whole life, even now as an adult now, first thing somebody come out their mouth, black, you dark, you black.
Oh, okay.
When I was during the early 80s, like I said, when you cats was younger, a lot of the women were really into light-skinned guys. So it was tough, during high school for me, because a lot of the you had your
Albie Shores,
the
Christopher Williams, the DeBarge,
Christopher Williams. So the high school girls was like light skinned guys.
Take me, I'm dreaming.
And they per se had the good hair and so it was a struggle.
I'm with you. No, so I was looking up something, and Six, if you want to jump in, I saw this thing where it says colorism is also evident within the native continent of Africa, which many scholars have identified as colonial legacy, and it was socially implemented from European settlers in the 19th century. through concepts of racial profiling. And I know that that's also is in the Caribbeans, as well as in India, and even within the Hispanic. So anywhere that you have the variations of melanin from light to dark, typically around the world, you see that colorism. And I wonder if, you know, I personally think it stems from colonialism across the board. You know what I'm saying? I think it, you know, in the mixed breeding and from the power structure at one time being, you know, from Nubia to Kemet to all of that being dark skinned and that being the thing that was renowned. And after at a certain point in time, that became the lesser of the you know, we failed. And then, you know, you have the Ptolemites, some people call it Ptolemy, but the Ptolemites that went into Egypt and different things in that mixed breeding, you know, all of those things that the melanin recessive gene that definitely started to, and this is not a racial thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just, you know, of those that have less melanin. And so I wonder if, Pat, if, and I know the answer, but I just want to hear from you. If back in the day when you were hearing and you were feeling those things, or those things were being said, if the stamp on being quote unquote black or dark was positive, if it would have bothered, you know what I'm saying? Would it have been an issue if I won't even call it knowledge of self, but maybe I will say if knowledge of self was had at that time and you understood, you know, being of the darker hue and what that initially meant, would it have made a difference from a societal perspective for you?
I think you would have. I really, but like we said, you know, I love our parents to death, but our parents were just not equipped with a lot of the tools that we have today. And they did the best that they could with what they had. Right. And then our parents were, you got to remember, and especially mine, because my parents, of course, were older than y'all parents, because I'm older than you all. So my parents were really one generation removed from the major part of the civil rights movement.
Okay.
Was just one or two generations removed from a lot of the Jim Crow and all of that stuff. So,
right.
So my parents never addressed any of those things and never told me I was a prince or a king or you know. So all I knew was I was dark skinned. I really couldn't get no girls. But to tell you the truth, I used it differently than some did.
Okay.
Brothers.
Is that what you did?
Yeah. See, what I did is, at that point, I knew that it was difficult for me to get girls. Just walking up, talking to them, I'm black as night, and you know. So what I did is I used sports as my outlet, and then as I began to grow in popularity in sports, then my value went up. Let me say that. So then the one or two that I had opportunity to date became 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or whatever. So I use sports, but I think back to some of my friends that didn't have opportunity. And I have one friend that, of course, I won't say his name, but I can only remember him having like 2 girlfriends the whole time we were like between 8th grade and 12th grade. I can only remember him having like 2 girlfriends. So not the whole length of time. I'm talking about like one girlfriend for 6, 8 months, a year.
Right.
So it was tough for us.
Yeah.
It really was.
6, what you got? What you talking about? You've been quiet, bro.
Well, I was thinking about going. Yeah, I was thinking about going way back on where this could have started. I ain't gonna say to many, but to most, and that is the stain on the mind on where this could have originated. Because like cutting hair, it was a status that you had by your hairstyle and how it was grown, also by the color. And then we were told that the light-skinned must be against the dark-skinned. So years and years of training and educating us on the difference between the two separate us much farther. But it's been going on since the beginning of time,
When you
in
said
these different regions where the color.
Now you said from the beginning of the time it was.
Yeah, because if you think about it, what color, and I'm gonna go here on y'all. What color is mud if man comes from that? And I'm just going there with you two brothers just to get us going in.
It depends on
where you're at.
Yeah, you got red mud.
Okay.
You got, so I know that the sand people of Africa that you trace back to the Twa people are some of the oldest people. They trace back to the oldest people, and so their hue. So you find some that are dark. You find others that have a red tone, a lighter tone. So I think that it's I mean, we know that within the quote unquote black man, black woman, or let me do this. The black woman, black man. Let's do that first. That our shades vary. You know what I'm saying? They vary from space to space. Now, more than likely, because our life originated from what I understand in Africa initially, and depending on the region and that being on the equator, more than likely, most people were of a darker hue. You know what I mean? And then those hues kind of changed over the course of time based on the region and where you're at. And then the migrations that we had, you're talking about the first humans, and those migrations throughout not only the continent, but other continents. And then those things over hundreds of thousands of years, you have different variations, different ice ages. And I mean, we going a little deep. I just was kind of, when you said that over the ages, I don't know if I'm not saying I agree or disagree. I just had never heard of that.
Well, but what we do know that it happened, I agree with you, Brother Six, and that's, I guess, debatable, but we do know that it happened during the slavery period. And they exploited it. So they took the light-skinned people, which were closer to their skin, and let them work in the house. They took the darker-skinned people and put them out in the fields and all of that. But I guess there was some advantages of that because, that's where the Mandingos came from. But that's a joke. So everybody that's listening, that's a joke. That's a joke.
Don't forget the Leroys.
But they did exploit that during that period of time, and I think that over the years, that kind of was pushed on to the Black community, and we kind of took it in with it. There's a lot of things. Just about almost every topic we talk about, we can find trace roots back to the slavery,
or even prior to that, like I said, with colonialism and certain invasions, not only the trans-African or the transatlantic slave trade, but the trans-Arab slave trade.
But you know what's so funny, fellas? It's totally off the subject. So to my partner Eric, that first of all, let me give one more shout out again. I love this brother because this brother looks at every single one of our.
He does. Shout out to E.
Here's what happens. Not only does he watch it, he takes notes, he comments, and then the brother calls me. He called me the other night, and we had about an hour-long conversation about our podcast. So shout out to Eric Smith.
One love. We appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.
Love
what
you.
I was going to say is, and this is way off to the left, and I'm gonna come back, but it's almost like everything that they do to us, we pick up and do it to ourselves. Like word, we changed it. Oh, we're gonna put a "g" on it, and it don't mean the same thing. No, it means the same thing.
Well, so you're gonna make me go someplace.
Well, hold on. So what I'm saying is they take the light-skinned people, they put them in the house, because that's separation. They put the dark-skinned people out in the sun and the heat, and then separated them. So the dark-skinned people felt some kind of way.
Right.
Because you got the light-skinned people up in the house eating the good food and getting the good clothes, and I'm out here breaking my back in this field.
Right.
There was a separation built there. And then we carried it on.
Well,
high school
that's what
because I'm dark skinned.
Well, go ahead, Six, because I know you were building on something and then we cut you off.
That very thing that blood spilled right into our genes, man, because we picked that up. It was just, I think that was passed on traditionally before, because my mom didn't know no better. They just thought that's the way it was. And here we are debating and talking about colorism because that was something I think was just passed down, man.
I had to dunk on somebody. Think about that, fellas. I had to dunk on somebody to get a girlfriend.
Hey, listen, but you silly. But I also think that, you know, to underscore that very point, when you, it's difficult to try to find normalcy or to rectify or to come to grips with different things and redefine who you are when you're still dealing with trauma and you still catching hell on a day-to-day basis. And so I think that, not to give us a pass, but I think that it's understandable if we dealt with any type of psychology or sociology, anything, we could see the trauma, we could see the things and see how it kind of, it will be the hamster in the wheel. It's going to just continue to repeat itself because you have people that when you're trying to survive, it's not that you really against your own brother because you know what they're going through, but you just like, man, if I could just get 10 minutes of reprieve, because I'm catching hell too. I'm getting raped inside the house too. Y'all just don't see it.
Right.
But at some point in time, it becomes, as things move on, there's that we do take on that onus.
We don't have it now though.
Oh yeah.
So the real question becomes, do you fellas think that there's still a problem with colorism now?
Absolutely.
See it so much.
I do.
Oh yeah.
But then again, I might not be the best judge because I don't get out a whole lot. I don't get that much.
Oh yeah, Pat, you gotta think about it.
I think we've done a lot better with
no.
it,
you know what? You know what? I retract that statement because not only in the military, but on the civilian side, I've seen brothers that have a lighter complexion seem to fit in a little more and move a little better in the corporate world than some of us. I had to be professional. I had to be extra professional, extra well dressed to the T.
Not raise your voice.
Yeah, I couldn't get angry. I couldn't raise my voice because I stereotype. So I still see it.
I was bugging because I was looking up this thing about the paper bag test, the brown paper bag.
I've never heard of
test.
that. What is that?
Okay, so in a book, 1996 book called "The Future of the Race," Henry Louis Gates, y'all know Professor Louis Gates, out of Harvard. So he described this practice. He said, according to some of the, as an undergraduate student at Yale in the late 1960s, he said, according to Gates, some of the brothers who came from New Orleans held a bag party. As classmates explained to me, a bag party was a New Orleans custom wherein a brown paper bag was stuck on the door. Anyone darker than the bag was denied interest. That was a cultural legacy that was put in put to rest in the Harry, as we all make sure that. But so basically, and you're talking about now understand that when you talk about,
hold on, they put a brown paper bag on the door.
yeah,
Then the bag couldn't get in.
yeah. So think about no. This, I think it was in Yale, but this was a tradition that came from New Orleans. Now you got to think about it. New Orleans, you're talking about Haitian, the Creole, the mixing with the Spanish, the French, coming up with this Creole. And so you're looking at this whole pot of things. And so there was, and so with that light skin, that French thing, you're looking at the aristocrats of that time frame, looking more, and if you're more fair-skinned, and so Black people took on that same practice. And so I know this, and you even hear that a lot when it used to be like in the HBCUs and things of nature back in the day, the brown paper bag, like getting into certain sororities more so than anything, maybe some fraternities or whatever, that brown paper bag thing. And that's real. And to this day, like it's so ill, because my wife used to say this to me a lot of times, and I think I still do it unbeknownst to myself, and not intentionally, but it's just how it is. You'd be like, the light skin, you remember old boy light skin, he was light skin, and that's how we go. You know what I'm saying? We use those as descriptions on how we, we see people, we view people, or the dark skinned brother, the real dark, blah, blah, blah. And
yeah,
and it's just,
it's used a lot.
It's crazy, man. And you see it, you can, and people to this day, grown adults will have horror stories and carry that trauma with them in adulthood of shit that people said to them when they was younger. You know what I'm saying? Pat might have heard shit, but just off of jokes or whatever, he was able to have tougher skin or whatever, or maybe he harbored some things at some point in time. But there's some people that it really
affected, mentally.
It affected them and their relationships moving forward. And so it's unfortunate, man. This
you think about it though, things have changed a lot. Things have changed a lot though. You think about those who are light-skinned, lighter than most, even to where they're white, almost, that they want to get darker now. Everybody wants a tan, and it wasn't as like that. Back then it was the lighter you are, the more privilege that you have. So now we've gotten to the point where white privilege is what they say, but it seems to me that the light-skinned world wants to be darker and darker and darker and darker, trying to change that melanin, but it ain't working.
Listen, the late great Paul Mooney would just say, "Rest in peace to that brother." I know what he said. What they said. Everybody want to be a nigga. They want to be a nigga. You know what I'm saying?
And it's strange, and that's so funny because a lot of the individuals that are prejudiced they love eating soul food, they love getting tans. So is it really a stigma to be dark skinned? I think that
it is, but it's not.
There it is. I think that it is, and I think that it's not. So
it's now,
like you said, I love the skin that I'm in now, and I understand who I am. I understand the king that I am.
None of that matters.
So it don't matter, but it was tough as
facts. No,
tough as a 14-year-old to like certain girls. And don't get me wrong, I didn't ever really get turned down. So it wasn't like I was coming at them and they was like, "No, you black." Right. But it was like they never flirted with me. They never, and they were always flirting with the lighter
skin. Yeah.
So I never even really tried because I didn't think I had a chance.
I felt that. I felt that coming up as well. I think we, in some instances, we all, if because there was a phase and that was the thing that was out, and now we got the joke where sometimes, like our light skin trying to get back in, and we use that as a joke. But I think it kind of,
they ain't coming back.
Yeah. But it kind of masks
No, they ain't coming.
It kind of masks the pain that we all go through as people of color, melanin. You know, people with melanin more so than anything else. And to your point, and that's probably a conversation we can have on another day. You know, the cognitive dissonance of everybody else in the world, that some get it and some don't, and some understand this social construct that's fixated on color or describing people by a quote unquote race. But if you know, like, it's kind of like it's almost like you almost have to have cognitive dissonance to function, because if you sit back and say the very reason that I am here right now is because people that look like me and you and darker and some of other shades had the audacity and the willingness to travel before there were burning sands across the woodland.
I don't know if there's a time before that, but
there was.
I don't know. That's debatable.
There was. Before there was some burning sand. There was.
But the thing is, what do we do about it? We talk about we discuss a lot of things in the Black community, but sometimes we never really get to solutions. So what do you think, either one of you brothers, what do you think that we can do? Everybody can do their part. We can't change the world, but if we change a little piece of it, maybe that blossoms out and we plant a seed that grows. And so what do you think that if somebody's listening to us right now,
be mindful of the language.
They really get the definition of colorism, or they witness colorism, or they're a victim of colorism. What can we do to help them?
Go ahead, Sid.
You know what? The best thing that we can say or give an opinion to or advice is some of the experiences that we lived through to get us here today, and that is to tell them that whoever you are, find that self, and you need to roll with that. And once you learn self, there's nothing anyone can do anything about it, you know, because a made up mind is the most powerful thing in the universe. So once you make up in your mind, you are who you are, and that's it, and it's over. I think that's a good start for an individual.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, Six. I think that, you know, when we toss around that thing, knowledge of self, and typically sometimes that's used from a conscious, a woke perspective of, you know, you studying certain things, but it's really about knowing who you are and being comfortable in your own skin.
Will we ever know that? I'm
saying
in my 50s, and I still can't truly tell you who I am. I know what I like. I know what I like to do. I know what I've done in my past, but I couldn't give you a definition of who I am.
Well, I mean, I think it's always growing. I think, but I would say that I'm a divine spiritual being having a divine human experience. And
but that sounds what's the word?
I don't know.
Written.
It was written. It was written, but that don't mean that doesn't mean take it that is less true. So
no. I agree with you. It can be true.
So if I understand that
say that again to me.
I'm a divine spiritual being having a divine human experience. So everything about me, at the core of who I am, beyond this physical frame, is divine. And yet, in this physical frame, I'm having a divine human experience. So everything that I'm experiencing within itself is divine, because I'm uncovering myself and I'm learning myself. And so for me, it's a beautiful journey. It's between the beginning of my physical
and the end of my physical. It's that check in between. It's the revelations. It's the journey that you know what I'm saying? And so
Okay, I'm gonna say this, Mike.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say that, you know, I've heard this quote before, and y'all know how I am with my quotes. They say the most two important days in a human being's life is the day he was born and the day you find your purpose. Ponder on that for a minute. So I'm not saying, Pat, you ain't found your purpose yet, but that's what they say. You know, it's always pursuit of happiness. And when you reach that stage, you know, we never stop learning. So I don't know if it's that you ain't stopped learning to learn yourself, is what you mean by that, or you just ain't found your purpose. So I don't know, and I think I found my purpose, but I guess I can agree with you on a term of, you know, I haven't found myself, but by finding my purpose, I think that's when you find yourself.
Well,
if that
what
makes
is your
sense,
purpose,
brother? My purpose to give.
What?
I believe that's my purpose, to give. It rings heavy in so many ways, but it's very simple. I mean, the pursuit of happiness, what makes you happy? For me, this is personally speaking, you know, for me, it's like, what makes me the happiest? You know, what could I do and leave this body tomorrow and be satisfied with it? Giving.
So that's your purpose. Okay. I can't.
What's your purpose, Mike?
Is to remember. Is to remember my divine, to remember my divine essence. And through that allows me to recognize every other person's divine essence. Therefore, I'm connected with one another on a more deeper perspective. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, you know, I agree with that, and I don't, because I know what my purpose is, or what I think my purpose is, but that still doesn't say who I am. I believe my purpose is to teach. I believe my purpose in this existence is to teach. Whatever it is, it's to teach.
Right. So
not necessarily a school teacher, but
yeah. But then that's a part of, I think that we get to define who we are, and that's ever changing as it was said in Circle 7, as man unfolds, so does his God. So as man grows, so does his God, which means that when you in your most ignorant stage, God is very, or what we call the creator, God is very limited. He's vengeful, he's this. But as you continue to grow and you see and you experience life, then your God begins to grow as well, because you see God as loving, merciful, all of these things. And so so in being that's who we are at our core, you being a teacher that's who you are.
So
but that's not all that you.
Colorism goes. So what we could do is we could give, we could teach, and we could remember all that our natural spiritual existence is about, and the greatness that we have, and that will help others.
And that, you know what that sounds like? I'm gonna tell you exactly what that sounds like. And I think to live life being love. So to give love, and I think that's everyone's purpose. Pursuit of happiness is to love. So I would ask the question: is love our purpose? I would think that.
I think that's a word. So I get what you're saying.
What does that have to do with colorism, though?
Well, so I was go ahead, Six.
It's about loving oneself. Once you love yourself, then you can love others, and that colorism goes out the window when you when you overstand.
I knew what it was. I knew what you were saying, but we just got to make sure that our listeners do.
I'm glad you pushed them to, because I was going to say the same thing. I think when you love, like I used to say, I love my dirty drawers. Like I love myself. You know what I'm saying? So much that when you love yourself so much that you will never allow anyone to do you dirty, to mistreat you. And that's where I think that we have to get to a place where it doesn't really matter. It's Dr. Greg Carr talks about the governance and the social construct of our relationship between one another, not external, but our relationship between one another has to be one that we honor, respect each other as a community, but more importantly, the respect that you have for yourself.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so that it doesn't make a difference what you say or what you call me. My love for myself and who I know who I am. I'm so embedded.
Right.
I know that this thing, whether you call it God, whatever you call it, the universe, whatever, the divine, I'm so entrenched in this that the hue that I am is just that. That ain't even really me. You still looking at the physical part of me. Right. So you haven't even been able to expose and see the very essence of who I am. And only those people can do that, look past all of that other stuff. So I think that, I think that's one of the things, Pat, is really just trying to focus in before we start focusing on relationships with others, having a real serious relationship with ourselves. To the point where it don't make it.
And that will help dissolve colorism. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because
I agree.
It's like, man, you call me whatever. Because then the jokes is like, and you never take it to heart because you're confident in yourself. And then a woman or a man, whichever way, is gonna be like, I like how they roll. They exude confidence. They comfortable in their skin. And then we just got to watch the words that we use. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We really got to watch the words that we use. And we got to figure out a way in which we can start to create our own narrative, our own social structure, and start, where we are exhibiting what we say we want to be. Like how we get on here and we be like, man, I love you. And we exhibit that love. We showcase what we ask other young brothers or brothers to do out there. So we can't say, man, you got to love one another, and they ain't never seen nobody say, I love you.
Yeah.
And beyond loving, saying it, just being that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, doing it. Walk it, talk it, be it. But it's gonna be hard. It's a hard, tough, uphill battle that we see every day. Look at our entertainment. Right to this day, you still see the light-skinned broads in the videos and in the TVs and stuff like that over the dark-skinned sister. It's been like that. It's changing, but it's still there. That stigma is still there. I mean, it's a hard battle, but I think that's where we can start at to answer your question, though, Tom. Start with self, bro.
Yeah. I agree.
This has been interesting.
It has been.
I think that the conversation that we've had on this podcast, I actually think that this should also have a part 2. Should bring some people on, light and dark, that have experienced colorism and get a broader outlook of this subject. I'm also, again, for the third time, we need to get busy with our book that we're going to introduce and we're going to start reading. And we need to get busy with setting up planning. We talked about doing a couple other segments, like a youth segment, even if for a few. So we need to get busy on some of those things, because 2022 is bringing some new things for those of you all that are listening to the Back Alley Fellas podcast. So but those lights came on, and those that are new listening to us, when I know those that have been here for a while tired of hearing it, but it's just so funny to me, man, because I can still remember like it was yesterday. We talking like we talking now, and then pop on, and no one says nothing. It just, the crowd just dispersed.
It's it. Look like Scooby-Doo them when they running.
Yeah. Wow. I remember a couple of times coming around that corner on 23rd Street and hitting that little gravel and had to catch that little fence by the Key Market. I don't know if y'all remember the Key Market had that little black rail fence.
I know. I remember.
I had to catch that little fence
We used to
I was
jump
coming
over.
around that corner so fast.
We used to jump over it. Yeah, I
Thought
remember
we
what
was
you're talking
doing-
about.
Yeah, I thought we were
But-
doing something back then, jumping over that
Yeah.
little fence. Hey, what
But it's-
about? I don't know if y'all experienced this. What about when you know you're late? You go into the house and think you made it, get all the way in the tub, take your bath, and you getting out to dry off, and she gets it. Oh, I'm like, yeah, I done made it. Oh, she done forgot. She didn't even see me. Oh, you getting out that tub? Oh man.
Yeah.
You know, mama used to. I used to let get whooped by my daddy. He just 1, 2, 3, it'd be over. Getting crying, I'm right back outside. Oh boy, don't get caught with that light coming on. Boy, they get
Say it again. Go ahead,
But
Pat. I know you're supposed
in
to say something.
closing, I just want to say that those that are listening to us, first time listener, you've been here many times. I know we talk about a lot of serious situations, events, things in the Black community, but we also try to have a little fun with it. So if you're experiencing colorism or you've seen colorism, do something, say something, because these are things that we need to eradicate from our community. We need to learn to better love one another, to love yourself and to love each other, whether you're light skinned, you're dark skinned, we need to love one another. So in closing, I just say, learn to love yourself more and love your brother. Peace out.
Yeah, I like to say that all as well. You know, love yourself. In some cases, that's easier said than done. I know some situations are different than others. But you know, life is a journey, you know, and it ain't about how you start, it's about how you finish. So, you know, just for those that are listening, man, tell somebody if they're in that depression mode, and that's what that is, your ego's low, you know, all that stuff, you feeling bad about yourself, you think the white doll is prettier than the black doll and all of that stuff, man. Whether you light-skinned or dark-skinned, man, just believe in yourself and know thyself. And I think you'd be a whole lot better, even with the struggles.
Yeah. I say, just let your soul glow. And just know that, you know, even when we use light skin, dark skin, or light skin and dark skin, and, you know, just changing our language, you know, we different hues, different spectrums of that melanin, that beautiful melanin that runs through us. And just to be able to appreciate that, you know what I'm saying? And I know that we use those as descriptors sometimes, but maybe we need to figure out some different things. Maybe we got to establish some new norms, new language, new ways in which we describe ourselves in a way that reflects honor, beauty, joy, you know what I'm saying? And not the things that were kind of given to us, that were passed down. So maybe that's something that we look into, or how we discover or create new descriptive language words that we can use to describe one another in a way that just brings it up. And again, we want to thank you. Just continue to rock with us, continue to grow with us. We appreciate you. We appreciate those that continue to comment, continue to watch, and maybe don't comment. Yo,
it's so funny. It's so ironic that as you were talking, I was looking at my phone because I was receiving a text. It's one of my high school buddies who happened to be a very fair skinned dude. His thing was like, "What's up, Black Pat?" So
that's what it is.
Hey, but anyway, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
That's what it is. But I'm gonna try something, because I want to try something. This is something that we used to do sometimes when I used to come home when I was in the military and go to Louisville and do this, or just even before then. I'm gonna see if Six catches on, and I'm gonna see if Pat. If Reggie was here, God bless his soul, he'll definitely catch on. So I'm just gonna see if we still got it. And this is a cultural thing that we all do. But I'm gonna see.
Wait a minute.
You know how we used to, somebody will say something and then somebody else will do a little
The
bit.
double E. He used to say I'm the R, the E, the double G.
There used to be something then.
Yeah,
Hey, six would come in and be like,
Why would
he'll
I
say
say
something.
I be?
No, or something, he'll make another little sound, and then Reggie would do something, and then Pat would come, he was the king of one-liners, and it was like, and I'd be like, so it'll beat to happen, and I was like, it'd just be so organic, but it'd be funny, but we just be making up things like, so, that's just, I love my people, and I think that's what we got to get back to, is that despite all of the nonsense that we've been through, man, we've been able to find a way to love ourselves despite the hell that we've been through and the hell that we continue to go through. And we've been able to smile, and a lesser people would not be able to do that. So find peace in that, everybody. Find peace in that, and know that we got to do this.
Right.
We need unity amongst ourselves.
We need unity.
All hues.
I got one for y'all. Go out on this.
What's that?
Make the music with you.
Hey man, we out.
All right.
One.